well. I got my shot today. I didn't want to do it, but I
Were
work
you,
for a company that mandates it, and
were
I
you,
had until
were
September
you,
30th to get it done or I'm out. I respect everyone's decision. I
yeah,
really do.
yeah.
But to mandate it is sick,
Hmm.
and it's scary
Yeah,
to me in many ways. But I have
yeah.
a job that I love, and frankly, a job that I need.
Should be noted that after being forced to take it, ESPN retaliated against the great Sage Steele, who's been bringing me sports forever. I'm a huge fan. So joining me now, former ESPN anchor, now free agent broadcaster, and someone who was brave enough to actually step up and speak out and was punished for it, the great Sage Steele. Okay, Sage, looking back now on all that, are you proud of yourself for being brave enough to speak out? How do you look back at you from a couple years ago, and what do you think about that?
That is a great question, and I've had a lot of time, Jesse, and thank you for having me on. I've had a lot of time to think about what it would feel like once it ended at ESPN. And even if you think you're prepared, you're not. That's what I've learned. Listen, I am so sad that it had to come to this, that I was forced to make a decision. And I obviously made the decision at the time because I needed my job and I love my job. But it was what happened after that, I think. So yeah, it sounds weird to say former ESPN and free agent. Those are the terms I usually talk about NFL players, not about myself. But it's been, a week, I guess, and I'm grasping it slowly but surely. And just trying to, it's like I'm day to day. There's another athlete term with injury. I'm not hurt, but like I'm day to day as far as where I am here.
Well, Sage, I think you should be prouder of yourself than you are for being brave enough to speak out. I will tell you, I get tons of emails to my show, tons, and especially during the height of all that mandate stuff, people were scared and felt forced. People had bills to pay. People felt like they had to give it to their kids to keep them in school or sports, and that's a very real thing. For people who don't have kids, they don't understand. Your kid puts 10 years in a marching band, he's staring at a college scholarship, and you tell him he's got to take something that's safe for him, and you don't want him to, they're probably going to do it. Americans were forced against their will to take something, and Sage, that was a wake-up call for me about America's relationship with their employers who turned out to be hostile actors. I'm sorry, they did.
I'm sorry too. Listen, I'll never forget that feeling of that day, which was the last day I could get the shot before, in order to be fully vaxxed by the deadline that Disney and ESPN had imposed. And I was sick to my stomach. I was very emotional. And I want to make clear, I respect everyone's choices. Always have, always will. I'm on record saying that. I said it on the podcast with Jay Cutler. It's the mandate part. That's the choice that I believe I should make for myself and for my children and everyone else. So there's just a huge difference to me between vaccines and being forced to take it, the mandate. And yes, I look back now as maybe courage, brave, whatever. But I think you get to a certain point in your life, regardless of what it's about. And when there are certain lines crossed, you got to take action, because I believe if you don't, it's kind of on you at that point, if that makes sense. Like, you might not like what someone's doing, but then you do have a voice, even if you feel silenced. There are risks, there are inherent risks. I've been quite scared, but I also have a strong faith, and I feel like doing the right thing for me is going to pay off. I don't know what it looks like, but that's my belief.
Yeah, well, your kids are probably going to look back on that and be awfully proud of their mom. Speaking of the Jay Cutler podcast, you caused quite a stir with this one, too. Here you were on it.
Barbara Walters, ripped me live TV, and then afterwards, too, because they were wondering, they're like, why is it so important to you to say that you're biracial? I'm like, because my mom's white, she's Irish Italian, and my dad's black. And I'm like, why not? Like, I actually feel like I have the best of both worlds. She's like, what are you going to put? I go, well, both. She's like, well, you can't. She goes, well, what about Barack Obama chose black and he's biracial? I'm like, well, congratulations to the president. That's his thing. I go, I think that's fascinating, considering his black dad was nowhere to be found, but his white mom and grandma raised him. But hey, you do you. I'm going to do me. And then they put up a picture behind me of my parents and my brothers and me. And I was like, listen, I'm pretty sure my white mom was there when I was born.
Yeah.
And like, I love her. My white family loves me as much as my black family. And I got killed for that, Jay.
That is such an odd thing. And look, maybe I'm just old and out of touch, Sage, I don't know, but that's such an odd thing to get in trouble for, stating factual things about having loving parents who happen to have differing skin colors. Why would such benign statements get you in any hot water at all? Is the whole world just freaking nuts?
I guess so. And listen, if you're old, then I'm like dead, because I'm pretty sure I'm older than you. So careful. Honestly, regardless of what anyone thinks about my choice to honor both sides of my family, not just one, it's none of your business. I don't care what you think. I respect what you believe and what you choose to say about your family, just like I said about the former president. For me, it's important to acknowledge every part of me and not pick and choose. And it's something that, hey, this has been going on for a long time, long before my drama and my controversy. Maybe I'm just one of the few, I guess, maybe that has a platform that has spoken out about it, because it is scary. And especially when you get shunned and saying you're a sellout or you're not enough because you are claiming that you're biracial, not black. Of course, I'm black. I'm also white. And I am just so proud. It makes zero sense to me. And I think I've spoken about it several times, actually. And every time I do, I have people either write me later, DM me, or come up to me at the end of my speech or of a panel that I've moderated or even been a part of, and thank me. Some of them in tears, because they're younger people who are being told to choose and afraid to say, wait, my dad or my mom matters too. Why we have to choose is it's crazy. And especially considering we're so supportive of other people who choose to identify certain ways, the LGBTQIA+. I mean, so we're picking and choosing what's okay. Again, be consistent. And you can't pick and choose. I'm exhausted from it. And listen, it's been a lifetime of it. And maybe I've just had it up to here. But this goes back to acceptance and tolerance and inclusion and diversity. But people just say they want acceptance and tolerance and diversity, but it's only kind of when they approve. And that is the problem. And I'm just not going to be quiet about it anymore. And I'm so grateful. I had the best upbringing, Jesse, with a mother and a father who loved me equally. And it didn't matter what color everybody was. So if people don't like that, then I don't know. You can turn me off or never listen again. I'm okay with that.
Sage, stepping away from the sports world just briefly here, you seem like, unlike me, you seem like such a decent person. And something that really I despise about this era is this doesn't seem like a good era for decent people who actually believe in, like you said, acceptance or tolerance or things like that. It seems like we're a land of wolves now, and we just chew these people up and spit them out. And I hate that. And I'm not sure how we got here. I have some ideas, but I know this is not the country that I knew, that I grew up watching SportsCenter at 15 years old. This is a different country now, and I don't like it.
I agree, Jesse. This country has changed drastically from when I was a kid. And frankly, even 5 years ago, even 10 years ago, However, I'm a glass half full person. I'm an optimist. And I believe because of the changes, that's why we have to continue to be decent and be kind while standing up. And it's a fine balance, right? Because I do sometimes want to get on that keyboard and type back what I really feel about people or say it. But I know that will just turn into what I actually despise, for instance, about social media. It's so funny because I just got off an airplane about 8 minutes ago, and it's amazing how many people stop me getting on the plane during the flight just to say, and by the way, people of all different races and colors and genders, it didn't matter. And just, they said, thank you. Thank you for speaking up and being brave. And there were smiles and kindness. So what I'm having to constantly remind myself of is that is just a very loud minority. I believe most people believe like you and me, and do try to lead with kindness and grace, even if they disagree. So I think we just have to get out of that bubble. And it's hard when we're in this industry, because this is a toxic industry. It disgusts me, actually. That's a story for another day, because there's so much hypocrisy in it. But if we get out of that bubble and look at the whole world, the whole country at least, I believe there's more people like us who are kind and who are respectful. We just have to somehow filter out the ugliness. And that's a choice, and it's not easy, but it's something I'm determined to do for myself and for my kids, because that's the thing. They're watching what I do and how I handle this. And it affects them. My kids are older. They're 2 in college and 1 a senior in high school. They're 17, 19, and 21. This is my taking a stand has affected them greatly. We've had some tough conversations, but I hope that they see strength in taking a stand for what you believe in, and also that I've tried to do so with kindness and with a smile, because no matter what, I just feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be, even though I don't know what tomorrow brings, because I've tried to do it the right way. And there are things that I second guess myself, but I'm being true to myself. I'm doing my best. And I hope that it can encourage others to do the same and to not be afraid to stand up if necessary, to have tough conversations, and to be kind.
Yeah. Well, I have no doubt you're going to be a huge success wherever you end up landing. Sage Steele, you are the best. We're rooting for you. Come back soon. I appreciate you very much. I have great news. If you enjoyed that, I have a YouTube channel you can subscribe to. Whatever I do, it'll be right there on YouTube. So go subscribe today.